All right, what's up, Knucklehead Nation? I am back again with Christian, the Flow Master Zahler, in this very nice early morning. How you feeling, sir?
Feeling good. How's it going, guys? It's good to be here. Good to be talking to you again. It's good to be back in the Lions Den here soon. I'm excited.
I'm always excited for every single one of your fights, sir, man. I've gotten to see you from, I think it's your second fight at Fighters Rep to now, man. And it's been
Yeah,
one hell of a journey, dude.
yeah. I could say I remember that first time meeting you. It was somewhere around the interview booth at the
Yeah.
event.
Yep, it was one of the last ones, I believe, at that kind of Long Beach venue.
Yeah, it was in the gym.
Yep, in the gym. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's
I
crazy.
remember.
Changed.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, man. I remember you fought somebody with like they had some kind of I think they had a collarbone replacement or something. I remember we were talking about it after where like
Yeah,
the guy had like a plate still in there.
yeah, yeah. Well, me and him both have some shoulder issues, and I don't know if you know, but I actually have torn. I have a was it type 2 shoulder displacement on both sides. It's a
Oh, really?
AC type 2 AC separation on both sides.
Yeah, I remember at the time you had one AC joint issue and it spread?
No, I had one that was recent in the last I think it was 2 years, and then but 5 years ago I did the other shoulder, so now I have both of them with the AC separations.
Oh, wow, man. Well,
Yeah,
it doesn't look like it affected you too much. You seem like you're still pretty mobile through that.
yeah. And when you get to MMA perspective, I could use that as a weapon because it kind of sticks out a little bit.
That is true, man. I don't know any of viewers if they've never been shoulder bumped while they're in the clinch. It
Yeah,
actually works. Like, I've had
yeah.
my nose busted up from that.
Yeah, yeah, it could do a lot of damage. I don't know if you remember, there's like a McGregor versus Cowboy Cerrone fight. Cowboy Cerrone, I think, was
Mhm.
using his shoulder bump and nearly knocked
Exactly.
him out, if I remember correctly.
It was like the setup to knock I won't
Yeah, it
claim
was a
in
setup.
that fight it was a knockout. I think it led to the head kick, though.
Yeah, yeah, that was great.
Well, speaking of head kicks, sir, you got a title fight coming up, and you're
Yeah,
moving up to 172.
yeah, yeah.
How you feeling about that?
That to me is the goal because say for me to be at the 165 weight class, it just makes me feel like a small person, but I'm a big person. So overall, my goal is to gain muscle mass, so that way I have that advantage at the 175 weight class. And it's not the first time I've fought at a heavier weight class. I've actually done a zero cut before where I weighed in walking weight 185 and came out on top in that fight. So I like a challenge. I like to play around in the weight classes. I don't mind playing around there. But I do look forward to kind of moving up in my walking weight class and just
Mhm.
competing at a higher weight in general most of the time.
Well, it doesn't seem like you're too affected. I always thought you're, again, a bigger guy. You're pretty I think you're either my height or if not taller.
Yeah.
Um,
What? So you're 6'3"?
6'2". So,
I'm currently 6'3", but I'm shooting for 6'4".
get those leg extenders, get that surgery.
Yeah, decompress the back. That's usually my issue. Everything is all tight.
You know, I gotta agree, man. Like, when you got a tight back or any of those compressions, I truly think it probably adds down to the height.
Yeah, I grew an inch in the last like 3 years as far as the medical documentation goes. Because they always said I was six
Yeah.
two, and then in the last 2 years they've been saying I'm 6'3" now, and I'm pretty sure it's just the stretching.
Well, I gotta ask about the stretching routine now, man. You gotta tell me the secret.
Uh,
I'm trying to get to
uh,
6'3".
well, the unfortunate thing is, when you're training every single day, it requires an added regimen of recovery. So I spend like an hour probably stretching and massaging each day. Not only that, but using shit tons of arnica and CBD oils.
Mhm.
But yeah, I spend about an hour each day on recovery stuff in order to be able to go to the gym the next day and not feel like total shit.
Well, of course, that makes perfect sense. Like, do you have a specific routine you kind of go through? Because obviously, as you just mentioned, to be a top level athlete, to keep up with the grind of being a championship level fighter, whether it's amateur or pro level, you have to have a pretty extensive routine, I'd imagine, for your recovery process.
Yeah, Coach Lee sets me up with a pretty good strength and conditioning routine. I would say in that routine, it incorporates some level of recovery aspects, like things that do promote recovery as far as physical exercises. But when it comes to my own personal stuff, which is like an extra hour at home, that's just an intuitive feel. I just go based on what hurts the most and what needs the most attention. And there's dramatic differences the next day once I kind of just feel through what hurts the most and work through those things.
That's awesome, man. You got to do what you got to do to keep up with the grind, and you're a
Yeah.
guy that's, well, unfortunately, it is a contact sport, it is a combat sport, and it's one of the rougher ones. We've seen injuries inside the lion's den before. It's funny you were mentioning, your shoulder issues and a dislocation and things like that. We've seen shoulder dislocations inside the lion's den itself.
Yeah.
So that's something that is very key and important, man. Well, let's get back to the title fight, sir. What do you make of your opponent taking on Joseph Parker?
Unfortunately, I've done some scouting and trying to find footage of this guy. I don't follow him on his account. I think it's private, so I can't quite look at his Instagram for details. I don't really know much about him, so I'm going in it very in the dark. I was offered two alternatives to my previous opponent option, which David Rivera. And so I was offered two others besides David Rivera after he rejected. And we just kind of went with whoever I thought would be the best form of experience. So I don't usually go for the easy wins. I'm here for a challenge and to grow because we're still in the amateur world. So whatever happens here doesn't really feel like it's going to matter all that much once you transition to the pro level. And I'm here to learn my lessons now. Parker is a taller fighter, which I don't usually. I don't think I've ever fought anyone that's my height or taller. So this is going to be an opportunity for me to use some technique or tactics against a taller fighter. Which we do have some taller fighters at our gym, so I have some ways to go about tackling that challenge, and it should be a good time though. But that's the only thing I'm really in the dark about or shooting for, is trying to understand and fight a person who is taller. Other than that, I don't really know much more about his fighting style, except for maybe I saw some footage and he kind of seemed a little slow in the footage that I saw. But I mean, it could have been just a bad day, because I've definitely had those moments myself where you just feel kind of slow or sluggish. So I guess we'll just see on the rest of it.
Man, yeah, that's pretty interesting. I don't think anyone's even being close to your height, to be honest. Like, I think the closest guy to who was like the tallest, actually, that is like pretty close to you, I think I would say, was Joshua Caldwell.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, he was decently tall. I think he was maybe just a couple inches or an inch or nearly the same height. It was very close.
Very close.
There are still some parts of my rehydration protocol and my refueling of energy protocol that I think I messed up on in that fight, because it was a tough just walking into that fight with my energy not really in the right spot.
Yeah, I remember that fight because, we were talking about it after, and there was some I think issue where obviously you're a pretty lean guy already, and you're already dehydrating yourself to get to these lower weight classes where, there was some issue, basically your muscles weren't just filling back up like they're supposed to.
Yeah. Even since then, Coach Lee has done rehydration classes from one of the top hydration guys in UFC, and he has like his own kind of online course. And Lee is certified in that course, which took, I think, several months to complete. And so now my protocol is very strict and very clear on how exactly to get my body to absorb water again, like using the proper electrolytes formula per my body type, which is really cool because it's way better than drinking some random Pedialyte and just hoping for the best. It's very scientific, and your bodies are very scientific. There's like correct proportional balances that
Hmm.
are necessary. So we've definitely moved up as a team in a lot of ways, even just that way. Hydration protocols. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, I also got to ask because you mentioned it earlier. You almost had potentially another opponent. You know, a guy that you've already fought twice.
Yeah,
You know, on Instagram, I saw you guys kind of chirping back and forth, and what I mean is David Rivera. Obviously, David Rivera made his own choice. The current champion at Fighters Rep. Incredibly talented fighter. Knucklehead Nation. If you haven't seen the guy, definitely go check out his past fights. Go check out Christian's past two fights with him. Those are just absolutely incredible fights. And, I was really looking forward to that trilogy matchup, and unfortunately it didn't work out. But it seemed like you guys were still chirping a little bit back and forth. I got to ask about that. I can't just let that one go. The people want to know a little bit more about that beef and that drama.
yeah. I don't know what was up his ass, but I don't think there's any reason he should have turned it down, except for being fearful of losing. I mean, if you watch the last fight, I would say up until about the end of the third round, I think it was when I got clipped or dropped. Seemed to me I was winning, and then so it's not like he demolished me. No, it was pretty clear that it was a good fight, and it wasn't like he was just out beating me, out striking me, and like it was not worth his time anymore. So maybe he's just avoiding the challenge, but yeah, I don't think there's any reason he should have rejected and turned it down, especially if that's what the people want.
I mean, I gotta say, as a fan, I kind of want to see that
Yeah,
trilogy get close. Or we're 1-1 apiece, man. Both guys got finishes. Both fights were exciting. You guys have dropped each other, I don't know how many times, and like, I gotta say, as a fan, a little bummed that I'm not gonna see this. Hopefully, there's still a chance that you're willing to go back down. He's willing to settle the trilogy because he had some spicy words to say back to you as well, sir.
yeah. I'm Unfortunately I didn't see his spicy words because I don't spend a lot of time on Instagram just because I it's often more distracting than it is useful. But
Mhm.
uh, I do. I did. Me, and my coach, me, and my coach actually had talked it over that it would be dope, and this is kind of the path we're gonna follow. Is I fight for the 175 title, I win it, and then we go back and we try to get another title at the 165 and try to hold two titles at one time if that's possible. That would be spectacular and awesome. So I definitely would consider going back down.
See, that's what I'm hoping for. That's the exact storylines, man. Like I said, as a fan of the sport, man, I'm a guy that lives for storylines in this. And that's the one that's one that I want to see is how does this end? Does he go get the title and does he come back and is he able to take on the challenge and David Rivera, or will David Rivera get his revenge and really close and seal the deal? I
Yeah.
don't know. Hopefully it gets to come to fruition, but you know, I had to get a little bit more on that inside tee. Now, going back, man, again to this Fighters Rep 19 fight, obviously you said your opponent is a taller guy, and you've really, from again, my knowledge, I think it was only Joshua Caldwell is the only opponent I've ever seen come close to your height. And as we know, especially in striking sports, a reach advantage can make or break the difference in a fight depending on how it's used.
Yeah.
So, how do you kind of plan on dealing that with that kind of not having that reach advantage for the first time, and or not the first time, but not having that reach advantage in a little bit of a while, man. You kept active since that Caldwell fight. And so now you're back at it again against a taller opponent.
Yeah. For me, the way we're gonna kind of solve that issue is I'm gonna be what I think to be my more dominant skill set based on what I've seen is going to be speed. Also, I would also think that I have a pretty good understanding of distance management, being able to have punches come this close to my face and then be able to come back from those positions where I land my strike, they don't land theirs. Kind of like what you saw on the first fight of David Rivera, like at the very end of the fight where he's about to finish me, all his punches were like right at the edge or barely nicking me, and then that's when I came back. So that understanding of distance is where I intend to shine.
Well, that's awesome, man. I know I could keep talking to you all day, but I know you're a guy who's kind of short on time and always busy, man. But I'll stop with three questions. And the last one is going to be obviously Vital Force opened a new location within Corona. They've been expanding. You and Jorge Aquino are at least the two, I'd say, top guys, I'd say, coming out of there. Both of you coach over there. Both
Yeah.
of you guys have really helped the expansion of that gym. So what's that kind of been like? Now you're going to go up, get another title, and kind of being that head guy at a gym.
Yeah. Although I'm the head or one of the head guys, it does not seem as though anyone that is much lower doesn't propose or give their own difficulty. So we have a lot of guys um, that are less experienced that are also training in the competition classes. Even on my bad days or their good days, they can give me some form of challenge. So it's not necessarily like there's no form of lacking when you train with less experienced versus more experienced. And it's nice to be able to give them the advice to help them beat me, and then seeing them use that against me, because then it makes me adapt. That's one of the beauties of it, I guess, is I'm open to tell them what they're doing wrong and what they can do to be more successful when they attack me. Um, which is, yeah, it's an odd dance. Like you're just like, yeah, go ahead and beat me or figure out how to beat me, so that way I can get better too. So, and then also the spectrum for like growth in martial arts, it seems to be, as most people know who train, it's like the better you get, the harder it is to get better, the slower the progress. In the beginning, everyone gets really good really fast, and then it starts to level out and go slower and slower. So these guys catch up really quick within like a year of training, especially with us coaches always trying to give them the tips to help beat us. It's just, yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, that's awesome, sir. All I got left for you is, for one, what can we see from you at Fighters Rep 19? And then any shout outs you want to make.
All right. Uh, in the past, I made the mistake, at least in David's fight, saying, "Man, I just want the fight to last longer for once," because I was tired of like first round finishes or uh, rough stoppages in the first or second round. So I was like, in the last David Rivera fight, I actually said, I was like, "Oh, I hope it lasts to the fourth round." Now I say, "Fuck that." No, I'm always shooting for first round finishes from now on, so you get rid of the odds of random events leading to something that's not in your favor. So I'm looking for first round finishes, or early second round finishes. And then I just like to give a shout out to some of my sponsors that are helping me get to World Classic in Georgia this weekend. We have Canon Management Group, Crown Graphics, Soda Jerk, and Abuado Law Group. Yeah, Abuado Law Group's been helping me for the last 2 trips. So I appreciate you guys. And I appreciate friends and family that are also helping support and helping me get to Georgia, and also coming to all my fights. If you guys are interested in coming to the next Fighters Rep fight, September 9th, you can DM me or DM Sydney, my girlfriend, and we can get you tickets, or you can buy tickets online at fightersrep.com and use my name at checkout for who you came to see.
Awesome, man. Well, again, you beat me to the link, and you guys know where to get it at Fighters Rep 19. Tickets are going to sell out soon. You definitely want to catch this fight. We have a stacked card filled with 4 or 5 title fights, many pro fights, exciting amateurs like Christian himself. This is one you're definitely not going to want to miss. And guys, please tune in and check it out, Knucklehead Nation. I appreciate your time, sir, and I'm looking forward to see you fight again inside the Lions Den.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you there.